If you're new here, and let's be realistic, you most likely are, then you won't know that story reviews aren't just the narrative of a game. This category can also include characters, tone, and themes. I say this because, as you've most likely already surmised, there is no point in reviewing the narrative of Splatoon 3. After all, no one cares about it. But I'll get it out of the way so we can talk about the more exciting story aspects of Splatoon 3. At this point, it's pretty clear that Splatoon now has their formula down in the way Mario does. Except, of course, no one wants to see the Zapfish kiss the protagonist at the end of the story like Princess Peach would. To their credit, they shook it up a little bit by having their Bowser, DJ Octavio, not be the kidnapper this time around. It took Mario 17 years to be that bold with their storytelling. There's even a self-referential wink in the first 10 minutes about how they've done this before, but knowing what the problem with your franchise is and referencing it instead of addressing it doesn't make you funny. On the contrary, it makes you look lazy. Although, I guess I'm just getting up in arms about a MacGuffin, and the narrative doesn't really matter at all. So what I have to say about Splatoon 3's story is that it's almost the same formula. I'd be a lot more negative if this were Octavio again, but the new villain is, well, we'll get to him. Instead, let's talk about one of the best things about a Splatoon game, the tone. It's such an odd amalgamation of Japanese pop culture crossed with American teenage 90's. It's so weird, no one talks like this, but it's so zany and confident in itself that it totally absorbs you. Even though it's not spoken word, the Japanese voice actors do such a good job conveying this fictitious click that you can sometimes find yourself going, "Dow dow," along with them. I love how prevalent it stays, no matter how much the setting begs for a change in style. To shift into a world review for a few seconds, we open in the dusty Splatlands. As a lone train pulls into the station, you think that the game is prepared to slow down a bit, much like their dulled atmosphere. Then you're launched into the latest megalopolis, skyscrapers higher than your screen can reach, and the squids as far as the eye can see. Then you plummet into a shivering space center, the crunchy snow blanketing the wreckage that hope to reach a new frontier. It's almost like John Carpenter's The Thing set under the bright sun. From western to urban to sci-fi, the prevalence of Splatoon's lingo give all of these places a matching sense of satirical style. At least I hope it's satirical. I'd be really depressed if the scriptwriters for this game thought they were genuinely and accurately depicting the lingo of today's youth. Or maybe this is just how Japanese teenagers actually talk. But there's no doubt that the tone makes Splatoon stand out from the rest of Nintendo's first-party lineup. It's like the younger cousin of the family, going through its edgy, rebellious phase. Only the rebellion can only go so far as the family-friendly god of their universe Nintendo allows them to be. Now let's move on to one of my favourite parts of a new Splatoon game, the new announcers, Shiver, Fry, and Big Man. While still Inklings, these characters' designs are based on marine life other than squids and octopuses. Shiver is a shark, and is named after the collective noun for sharks as well. Her thinner eyes and one being covered by her hair, as well as her much more relaxed, slinking demeanour, give her a much more of a predator vibe. Shark vibe. Fry is an eel, also named after the collective noun for eels. However, her personality is much more extroverted, which is odd for a creature that lives most of its life in a hole. She also has cute little canines sticking out. Sharp teeth are something I've associated with eels since Mario 64. Finally, Big Man, whose name I don't get. The best I could come up with is that it's some kind of pun on manta ray, but that's not that funny or clever really. But his Pokemon speak of A could be the ray part as a pun, which does make it a little funnier, but he's a big old derp and I can't help but love him for it. I love how out of place all these characters look in this game. From the trailer, I assume these games would lean into the whole post-apocalypse vibe of the franchise, and focus on the more downtrodden of the Inklings. But it quickly goes back to its delightfully dated dialogue and funky fresh fashion, and stays there no matter where the campaign takes us. This video is shorter than my normal ones, but that's to be expected in a game with such a light appetite for narrative. And for those of you who haven't beaten Splatoon 3 yet, and are interested in doing so, this video must be shorter still, because I can't, in good faith, do a story review of this game without discussing the ending, so I give you to the count of 3 to click away, or else you're in for spoilers. 1, 2... What the What in Satan's unholy name is this abomination of life? Why in God's long-forsaken name does he look like that? This is the most upsetting boss I've seen in the last year. I don't have any notes for this character, just endless goddamn questions. Why does he have a puppy face, but his body is swole? Why does he talk like someone whose body is possessed by the ethereal demons of capitalism? Why is his plan to fuzzify the Earth in a cosmic horror sort of way? Why does he show no emotion at all, even when his plan is ruined? What exactly is he the CEO of? This is Kirby levels of f***ed up. He is the most abrupt tone shift in Nintendo history. This is like if Link pulls the Master Sword in the Temple of Time and ends up in Silent Hill. That's how upsetting this character is. We go from "Style fresh" to "Should the entity once known as God exist again, would he grant his followers employee benefits? If so, I cannot allow his falsehoods to spread, and regrettably, I must motion for termination." I'm so thankful he's in a Splatoon game where no matter what happens, the characters never lose their personalities and dialect, because in any other game, the main character would be in complete terror at the Antichrist that appeared before them. Splatoon 3 is a continuation of the formula set up in the first 2 games, with all the new spins on it that we've come to expect, and I don't ever expect it to change at this point. All aside from the cosmic fuzzy horror that is Mr. Grizz, who forever ensures that I will never look at a teddy bear the same way again.